What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute, been on the East Coast for a little while, and when I travel from the West Coast to the East Coast, every other day you're going ahead of time zone, so I'm having to wake up, my body's having to wake up an hour earlier, even though I'm waking up the same time every day, and then it just, I don't know what it is, but it just destroys me. So for the last week, I've just been tired every day, and then I'll try to go to bed and can't sleep, so for like 4 or 5 days, I think I got like 4 hours of sleep every single night. And then finally when I dropped the load off, I crashed for 12 hours. And then I did another quick load. Only slept like 4 hours that night. And then the next night I crashed again for 12 hours. And finally, kind of back to normal. Went up into Delaware and then into New Jersey and dropped off somewhere near Atlantic City. And then headed up north to Newark, to the ports. And we picked up at this place. It is just total poop show at the ports, man. Those guys are nuts. Like, everything's labeled pretty well, but everything is just, all the roads are turning so fast. There's just hundreds of semi-trucks everywhere. Everyone's cutting each other off. There's no patience. They're driving 3 feet off each other's bumper, blaring their air horn, flipping each other off. Like, it's a whole nother experience going there. And the place I was picking up from is right next to it's like on the same road as all the ports, and then the docks are set up so that if you have a 53 foot in the sleeper, if you back into the dock, you're going to be sticking into the road. And then they somewhere along there you're supposed to park in front of these docks to try to get checked in, and there's like 15 people trying to check in. It was just a nightmare, but finally got that figured out. They sent me around to the back, and then that was another nightmare trying to get checked in at a different place while having kind of the same issue of trying to park somewhere to go get checked in while people were trying to dock. And finally got loaded, got out of there, and made it here to where I am in Pennsylvania. Went a couple days without a shower, but last night I was able to get one. This morning I got one, which feels really nice. So we're gonna get rolling from here, and wherever I am, somewhere in Pennsylvania, I don't really know. And then we're gonna try to get to almost Gary, Indiana. That's where my next fuel stop is. We've got a terminal there. The terminal is ghetto. I mean, I was there a week ago and thought I was going to get shot. Not really, but there was some sketchy stuff that happened. So I don't think I'm going to stay there. I think we're going to stop just before it, so that way I can wake up tomorrow morning, get fuel through there, and then hopefully blast all the way to Greenwood, which is our nicest terminal in Nebraska. But for now, let's get on the road. So I made it here to this toll plaza off the 80. The 80 is a toll road through Ohio, and we're in Indiana now, but they only have like service plazas to get off. There's like only a couple exits, throughout the whole state, and then the rest of them are just service plazas, which are also rest areas. I stopped here a couple hours ago. I've just been hanging out. The drive up to here was pretty uneventful. There was some rain and not really a whole bunch. It's just kind of a nice drive through the green portion of the country. Other than that, there's just not really a whole lot. Passed by a bunch of RV manufacturers, which was pretty cool. The Lippert factory, I think Keystone, if I remember right, Forest River, and then Grand Design, which Grand Design makes some nice stuff, so that was kind of cool. But other than that, pretty boring. Once I got here, just hung out, talked to my brother on the phone for about an hour. Not a whole lot here, just a bunch of parking, a bunch of green, and that's the freeway right out there. So I'm gonna call it for the night. I'm getting up at 4, which is about 8 hours from now. Probably gonna do a little bit of editing and then pass out, and we'll see you guys in the morning. the next morning here. Just got to Gary, Indiana to get my fuel, and we're gonna see if the fuel stop goes through. And I really hope it does, because I'm about a 1/16 of a tank of fuel. I got the low warning light last night and idled it pretty much all night for the AC, so we'll see. And we're at a 1/4 tank of DEF. I really hope this goes through, or else I'm going to be sitting here waiting on someone to get me fuel. Hopefully night dispatch can, but we'll see. Well, the app quit working, so I'm going to go swipe the card. I'll be back. Well, just as I thought. Fuel stop might have expired. So now I'm stuck here. And let's see, hopefully they get back to me quick, because otherwise I got to go find parking and I'm just going to be wasting my day. Thankfully, someone in night dispatch hooked it up. 10 gallons of DEF, 50 gallons of reefer fuel, which is standard, and then 300 gallons of truck fuel, which is really nice because I only had 100 before, and that wasn't going to get me all the way to Denver. So, unusual activity on my card. I got to go swipe it outside. I'll be back. All right, so we got fuel this time. I messed up, didn't get reefer. I thought they gave it to me, but maybe they don't think it's important for this one. It's only at 50 start and stop, and that's just to keep it from freezing or to keep it from them getting too hot and exploding. But got 100 gallons here, got 10 gallons of DEF, which that put me over half a tank of DEF, so that's good. Right at half a tank of diesel. But I got another fuel stop in somewhere in Illinois, Manitoka or something like that. So we're gonna get going over to that one. It's 50 miles away, which I don't mind stopping again if it means I'm gonna have a full 300 gallons of diesel. So let's get on the road and get to that next fuel stop here in about, I don't know, 50 minutes or an hour. So do this again, and then we can continue to march on to Greenwood. Made it here to the Minoka, Illinois fuel stop at this pilot, and looks like I'm getting 300 gallons of regular diesel fuel, which should be, it's probably closer to like 150 gallons, but man, leaving that last station in Gary sucked. The ramp was closed, so I backtracked, and I backtracked not far enough to the correct detour. So I got off and then had to loop back around, get back on to the 80 East again, to then go to the next exit, which was like now 5 miles, I think, from the opposite direction of where I need to go. Finally able to get back around and then start heading west. And then I'm like, probably like 3-4 miles in, there's a car doing like 20 miles an hour in the right lane. There's a couple people in front of me and a couple trucks, and of course the trucks, I didn't see their hazards until the last minute, if they even put them on, and they just dived out of the way. So I slammed on the brakes, and there was a truck next to me. I had to wait for him to pass so I could dive over, and I had my hazards on as soon as I saw what was going on, and then threw my blinker on as I was trying to dive over. Thankfully the cars behind me saw what was going on, so they dived over to the far lane to let me dive over one more lane to get out of, get around this whatever was going on. But I think they just had a flat tire and there's nowhere to pull off, so they were just doing 20 miles an hour down the freeway, trying to figure their life out. But we're here now, gonna get fuel and get back on the road. Right, another 125 gallons. Tanks are completely full. We're good to hit the road. I'm gonna have to take a break at some point, do my 30-minute break to reset my 8-hour clock, because it says it's gonna take about 7 hours and 45 minutes to get there, and I only have 6 hours on my 8-hour clock. But let's see, for the rest of the day, I still got 9 hours on my 11-hour clock of driving for the day, so we got plenty of time to make it there. It says we're gonna get there about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so probably more realistically like 5 after, stopping for a break. But let's continue on, and hopefully everything else goes better for the rest of the day. only stopped here once before. I figured I'd stop here again for my 30-minute break. If you don't know, this is Iowa I80, the world's largest truck stop. This place is massive. They got everything inside. They got a Wendy's, a Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Einstein Bagels, Dairy Queen, and then they just got everything you need for a truck. They got bumpers and chrome this and chrome that and lights out the wazoo and just all kinds of cool stuff out there. They got like a nice shopping area for food. They got clothing, all kinds of stuff. On top of that, there's 900 parking spots here. This place is just massive. Apparently I missed the Jamboree by a day, but it's kind of what it is. I'm not too worried about it. I wasn't really that interested in going, but it would have been cool to check out. So now that my 30-minute break's a little bit over with, closer to an hour, I'm gonna get back on the road, get going to Greenwood. We'll probably be there about 5 o'clock, maybe 5:30 or so. And then I can relax for the rest of the day, but I gotta get going because it's noon, and so we'll see when we get there. So I didn't quite make it all the way to Greenwood. I stopped here somewhere in Iowa still, about 60 miles from Omaha, Nebraska. I didn't want to screw up my hours for next week because we run on recaps, and so that means the hours that I eat up this week for each day, I only get back next week at a certain time. It's a weird thing. It's hard to explain without going in all the way into the hours of service, but basically I stopped early so that I wouldn't screw myself for next week. I've already got a shower here. It's nice and comfortable, although you can see everything's kind of muggy out. I looked that up online, and apparently these are all from wildfires in Canada. It's all just blowing down. It was that way through Indiana, through Illinois, through Iowa now. We'll see how far it goes, but I don't remember seeing it, you know, when I was going across the northern part on the 90 and I think the 94 on the way out here. But I was talking to my parents, and apparently it's been like this for weeks or months or something. I don't know, but I think I'm gonna get some Taco John's here. I don't really like Taco John's, but the tater tots are good, and that's about it. So I think I'm gonna do that, do some editing, get to bed early, and then that way, excuse me, and get to Greenwood early in the morning tomorrow, hopefully by like 7, because it's a little over 100 miles away. If I can get there by 7, do my laundry on like a 2 or 3 hour break on a split sleeper, and then I can take off from there and, you know, make it the rest of my, but another 380 miles after that will put me about my 8 hours to keep my recaps good. So then that way Tuesday morning I can take off early and head to Denver. But yeah, for now I'm gonna go finish the rest of my night and hang out, but I'll pick up with you guys probably tomorrow when I get to Greenwood, the Greenwood terminal. So we'll see you then. Made it out here to the Greenwood terminal about an hour ago. This morning's drive was a little interesting. It started pouring rain as soon as I got on the freeway and was hailing and everything. Nothing too crazy. I just kind of went through that, going through Pennsylvania and a little bit in Indiana, but not too bad. Once I got here though, I got here at 7, and just as someone was pulling up on a Harley, so they opened the gate for me, which was nice and easy, and then I pulled in, was able to get a shower, throw my laundry in the washer, and it's already done in the washer, so it's in the dryer. Might be here for another hour or so. We'll see how long the dryer takes, and then get on the road and get to the edge of Nebraska where I'm going to stop for tonight. It says on Trucker Path it's a Pilot Flying J, but if you read the reviews, it's like an independent that's partially owned by them, and they accept, you know, Pilot Flying J shower credits and stuff, kind of like the place I was at last night. So yeah, just hang out, and then we'll get on the road and get over to there and see what that's like. Took a little longer than I expected, about 2 hours to dry my clothes. The problem is I had a couple paper towels or something in there that went through and just completely clogged the dryer vent. So after the first hour, I pulled open the lint trap and it was just full, so I was like, oh, clean that off, and then it took about another hour to finish drying everything, but got my laundry done, My last video is uploading right now. For some reason it just like stopped in the middle and just started going slow. I refreshed the page and now it's going fast, but I gotta get on the road. My 3-hour split sleeper break's pretty much up, so I gotta get going. Gonna get DEF here. I just got approved for 25 gallons since we're at this terminal, and then once I get that, we'll continue to Big Springs, Nebraska, which is right about where the 80 and the 76 split. Yeah, 5 hours to go. Let's get on the road. We made it out here to this Pilot Flying J in Big Springs, I think it is, Nebraska. It's got a huge parking lot. Unfortunately, it's under construction, so there's not much inside, but they have a diner in there. I went and got some dinner there. It was delicious. Had a giant Cobb salad, and the waitress was really nice. Everyone was really friendly in there. It was pretty decently priced. It's probably like 15 bucks a meal, which is not too bad. But for being, you know, a diner in the middle of nowhere, I was really impressed with it. The drive today was pretty uneventful, just pretty boring. I mean, I like Nebraska, but there's just not much to see. It's just flat and a bunch of like cornfields and stuff and whatever, and that's about it. We'll see what happens, but hopefully 4 a.m. shower, get on the road by 5, get to Coors somewhere around 9:30 or so, dump off this load. Since we'll already be at Coors, probably pick up another load, and then my guess is either head towards Salt Lake or head towards California, because out of like 10 loads I've taken from there, that's the only 2 places I've gone. So we'll see, but for now I'm just gonna hang out, go watch some YouTube, go to bed early, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, it's the next morning. Got up about 5:15, went and got a shower. It's about 6 o'clock now. I'm just finishing up my pre-trip, getting ready to get on the road. We don't have a pre-plan, so just gonna go to Coors, drop this off, and then probably sit there and wait for the next load. But got a V8 to drink, and that's about it. Should be pretty uneventful, so let's get going. That was a pretty uneventful drive, but I forgot how bad the 76 is. It gets pretty whooped out where all the expansion joints are and stuff. Like, I did hit a lot of fresh asphalt. They just done construction in that area. Those areas were nice, but the rest of it just, I don't know, pretty boring, and then pretty just bouncing up and down the entire time. Other than that, made it here to Golden, Colorado. Once I whipped around and got checked in, the guy was like, "Hey, are those kegs empty?" And I was like, I don't know. So we went and knocked on them. Sure enough, they're empty kegs, and we've been running the reefer, you know, the entire time, which that's what I was told to do, so I'm gonna do as I was told, but a little bit of a waste. But took the trailer over and dumped it off in the lot they told me to, and then just drove around the corner, and I'm waiting for my next load. Overall, pretty good trip. It was good to stop at Iowa I80, you know, the world's largest truck stop. That's kind of cool, you know, just something different to see. You know, there's still some cool trucks, like I said, from the Jamboree, so that was awesome. And then being able to get to Greenwood, do my laundry, get a DEF stop, even though my fuel stop was screwed up earlier in the day, or the day before, but overall, it was a good trip. So thanks for hanging out with me, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.